Hey everyone, how are you guys doing today? Hopefully everyone's doing well. All right, I do have something new to show you guys. I have a new item from Coach. It's new to me. It's new with tags, but I got it. It's something that I got from eBay, something that was made about 5 years ago. So I want to show you that. I did want to take a moment, and I kind of tend to like doing these where I talk a little bit at the beginning of them. I almost feel like I have to say that. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. I almost feel like I have to say that because I know there are some people who just want to see the item, I get, um, but also this is kind of like a chance for me to have a little bit of a conversation. I feel like I'm kind of over explaining it, but anyway, maybe I'll just say it like in this video and then not really say it that much more going forward. But I have something new to show, but where do I start? I don't know. I have been so tired lately, kind of like mentally fatigued and also physically tired. And I remember, but I actually feel okay right now. I'll try to like spare the boring details, but I remember like last night I usually work more than I have like without going into too much detail, I have like a 9 to 5 type job and I work from home. So those are my hours, but I usually end up going above and beyond those hours. I don't get paid more because I'm salaried, but I do it to get the work done. And I had a lot to do. When is there not a lot to do? But anyway, I was like so behind that I felt like I needed to do more last night, but I had something else come up that I had to like get ready for, and I had to like devote time to that, like something kind of nothing bad, but just something kind of like unexpected. And I don't want to say that I've never been that exhausted before because I think I have, but it was one of those times where I hadn't eaten lunch, which I don't always eat like a big, huge lunch. Dinner's kind of my normal big meal, even though I know they say that's like reversed or whatever, but that's usually how it is. Usually lunch is lighter and then I do dinner. I don't really snack a lot in the meantime. I usually don't snack at all, maybe occasionally, but even then it would be very light. But I didn't eat lunch that day, and I've been trying to eat lighter, which when are we not trying to eat lighter, right? But I have been trying to eat lighter, so I probably ate a little bit lighter the night before, and I was actually hungry. I remember I got done with work. I think it was like maybe 7 or something like that, 6 or 7, and I think it was 7 because I think I did do a little bit more. But anyway, I had to like get ready for this other thing that came up, and I was just exhausted. I had a lot more like work stuff that needed to get done, but I was so tired, just like mentally I was drained and also physically, and I was hungry, and I can work through some hunger, or like not, I mean, yeah, work through some hunger, but I'm not even just talking about work. I'm talking about just like anything in general. Like I can be hungry and be okay. I kind of like being a little bit hungry and then eating once my hunger kind of like I kind of like that. It makes it more like satiating to eat. So I don't always mind that. I don't even always think that that's a bad thing, but I was just like I needed something. Like my body needed something, and I didn't get a chance to take a lunch that day and or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. My days are like running together, but that's kind of normal. And I just knew that if I did not eat a little something and lay down, like even for just an hour or so, like that it would not be good. Because there's sometimes where you can kind of be tired and be hungry and push through. And I would say most of the time I do that. But then there are other times where I feel like if I don't, it almost feels like driving on a tire when the tire's gone out and you're driving on the rim or whatever. Or like, they say when I don't know all the ins and outs of this, but like, they say that when your brakes wear out, get them fixed quick, because if they're worn out, you need to get them fixed, but then if you keep trying to break with them after they're worn out, it'll cause like even more damage. It felt like I was to the point where if I did not lay down for a little bit and eat a little something, it was going to be bad for me. Like I needed to. I thought, okay, no matter what important thing is coming up or whatever, I need to. And I don't always like it when people say this, because a lot of people say it and I just get annoyed by it. I feel like it's very I don't know, dramatic maybe, but I just realized in that moment I really needed to prioritize my physical well-being as well as like my mental health, because I know that if I don't always sleep the most. Usually I catch up on sleep on the weekends, which I know they say you can't like catch up, but whatever. Usually I can catch up a little bit more on sleep on the weekends, but during the week I just do not get usually that much sleep. But I know if I ever have a night where I just don't sleep at all or I sleep very little, if I do that too many nights in a row, I will get very dark mentally. And I'm already a little bit like that anyway. So that's something that I know about myself. Like I know, okay, there really is something to like getting enough sleep and getting like the right food in your body and whatnot. And I wasn't like feeling that exact vibe, but it was like kind of in that realm where I just knew I needed to anyway. So I made a little lunch or dinner. I don't know. To me, dinner is like very, very late. So, but most people that's dinner time. So I made something to eat. One of my favorite things, a bagel, an everything bagel with an egg and cheese and mayo, and then my iced coffee. I ate that and I ate it on my bed. I wasn't like in bed. I was like on the edge of the bed and I was kind of watching something which I'm going to tell you about. And that just felt so good. Like that probably might seem like kind of a little thing, like, oh, you ate a food you enjoyed and it felt so good. Like, don't you do that every day? There's something about when you really need something and you get it, like it just, like when you're really thirsty, like not I know that's like a like I'm talking like literally, like when your physical body is like you're really, your throat's dry, you need something to drink. When you're really thirsty and then you take a drink of like cold water or even like a nice ice cold soda or something like that, it just feels so good, versus if you're like stuffed full and you eat one more bite of food, like that doesn't feel as good. So anyway, and I laid down for about an hour. I did doze off for, I'm gonna say, I don't know if I don't think I dozed off fully for a full hour, maybe a half hour, give or take, but it did feel good. I had a headache when I woke up, so I took a little aspirin or whatever. I usually don't take anything for pain unless I really need to. I usually like try to go without, but I did take something for a headache because I had to get some other stuff done. I had to do some stuff that night, and I knew that if I had a headache, it was going to be, I don't think I would have been able to do it. So I took a little something, got showered, but anyway, that just felt so good. And I watched something. I watched a podcast, and then I'll say this, then I'll kind of get into the item. So one of my guilty pleasures is I am kind of a fan of the Real Housewives, like all the Real Housewives franchises. I haven't watched every one of all of them. Like there might even be some franchises that I haven't seen, but OC, I like OC. I started with Atlanta, like way back when, like over 10 years ago, like the first few seasons with Kim, with Sheree, with Candy. I think Candy might have came on in like the second season or something with like before Portia. I don't even know who the current housewives are on that one. Deshawn, I think she was there for like once. Anyway, there's more too. Like there's more than just them. Nene, of course, was there. Anyway, that was like back in like that was before I even moved in this apartment. That was like back in like 07, 06. I don't know. It was before I moved out because I would watch it when I still lived at home. So that was like like 2010, like 2009, 2010, somewhere like that. That's kind of when I got hooked, and then that's the one I started with, and then I haven't really kept up with Atlanta, but I kind of moved on. Beverly Hills and OC. I feel like there's a few other ones. A little bit in New York. Definitely, I would say Beverly Hills and OC. Like those are kind of my go-to ones right now because they're the ones that I'm most familiar with. And I watched yesterday, this podcast got recommended to me because like sometimes you'll watch a video and the algorithm learns, oh, let me recommend this because he's watching this, so let's put this video out. Anyway, we all know that, but I watched this podcast and just it was like in that moment it was just like just what I needed. It was, I think it's called, I forgot what it's called, my friend, my soul, my podcast, something like that. But it's this guy. I'm sure he's like really big and famous. I just don't know who I just don't know who all the really big and famous people are. But I think he was. I don't know. I feel like I should know this, but I'm not sure. But anyway, he's hosting it, and it was him and Vicky. I'm probably gonna say her last name wrong. Vicky Gunnarsson, and which I don't know if that's she changed her name or not because I know she's been divorced, and then I don't know if she's remarried or getting remarried. I think she's gonna get remarried. I don't know if she is, but anyway. And then they had Alexis Bellino, who will soon be, if she's not already, Alexis Jansen. And I like all of them. I like everyone, and I remember I like Alexis. Um, anyway, she was like talking about her mom and when her mom passed, and then kind of course her new marriage and how it was when she rejoined the cast of the Housewives as a friend versus like a full-time cast member, and how she's like, okay, I'm not doing that again. Don't quote me on anything. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but let me sit back a little bit. So anyway, I just watched that, and just in that moment yesterday, it was like so just healing. I think I started to did I start? Yeah, I started to watch and then I finished it, or did I finish it later? I can't remember. I think I watched it, and I don't know, it was like very, probably sounds so silly, but it was just so like healing to watch that. And just I like hearing other people talk about things that they've been through because it kind of makes you feel like less crazy, kind of makes you feel less crazy. And I don't want to, okay, I don't want to sound dramatic when I say this. I don't want to be dramatic, and I feel like I am being dramatic, but like when you do have something and you are going through something that you would rather not go through, like you're just like, oh, who would want to go through certain things? I don't know, maybe some people, some things, but when you have something, you're like, okay, that's not what I would. Anyway, it's just very healing to hear people talk about some of their similar experiences. You know what I mean? Like they were talking about their past relationships. And one thing, this I'll end with this and I'll get on to the coach item, but like one thing that I actually thought was really sad, which kind of like I'm like it kind of got me like, oh wow, that's like, I don't know, very deep and very sad, is Vicky was talking about her, I don't know if it was her, I think it was her first husband, her long-term husband who she was married with and had kids, who she divorced while she was on the show. I forgot what his name was. I like the Housewives. I haven't watched every single episode of every season. I'm kind of familiar with them, but there's probably a lot of things that I don't know. But anyway, Vicky was talking about how she divorced her husband. They're having issues, and don't quote me on this. This is all just my recollection. It could be wrong, but she had her she was talking about they're having issues or whatever, and at the time she thought, oh, I'm better off to divorce you. And then she got to the point where she realized, no, I don't want this. Like the divorce was final or about to be final, and she's like, I don't want this. I don't want this. But I think at that time, she had initiated or said she wanted it, and then her husband, soon to be ex-husband, then wanted it. And I think even after it was final, she was like kind of wanting to get back together, and she's like, I don't know if she said her greatest regret or her greatest mistake was divorcing her husband or whatnot, and how she wanted to get back together with him, but he was like, no chance, no way. Like he wasn't having it. And so she said, again, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but she's like, yeah, that was a regret. I don't know, there's something about that. And then hearing, Alexis, of course, she talked about her relationship and actually it was her second marriage, her long-term marriage was it to Jim? Was that his name? I think he might have been a pastor. I think she said that she actually had a first marriage when she was like 23, 24, 25, something like that. Very, very young, very short marriage. And then she married, I might have the wrong husband name, but then she married Jim. They were married for 14 years, I think it was. I'm not sure. Had kids, and um, she's been like, I don't know if she's been married since then. I think she might have been engaged. Anyway, she's getting married to, assuming this my information is still current, but I think it is. They seem like they have a pretty good thing. She's getting married to John Jansen, who was Shannon Bedore's ex serious boyfriend, and which I like Shannon too. I like all of them. I could go on about, I don't know, I do kind of feel for Shannon a lot. And this might be like kind of old news. This might be a few seasons ago. Like after she had her DWI, which of course that's horrible. You never, like that's horrible. People need to not, but I'm not saying that to shame her. I'm saying that to say something else. Like I've never had one of those. I don't drive after like I do that. You know what I mean? Like I am very, that's like a big line with me, not to drive after like, doing that and being drunk or what, which it should be. That should be a big line for anyone. Like I'm very much like I won't do that. So but I just kind of feel for her, just going through that. And I know she's had, I think that's maybe I don't know, don't quote me on any of this. I'm just thinking out loud, okay? Or not thinking out loud. Well, yeah, thinking out loud, but I'm just, from my recollection, I think she started drinking more heavily after her relationship with John Jansen. I might be saying his last name wrong, who is now engaged or married to Alexis Bellino, soon to be Alexis Jensen. She's like, I'm not going to hyphenate. I'm not going to hyphenate. She's going to change her name, legally at least. And I don't know. I just like kind of get it. Like there's just like part of me, you kind of, this might sound corny, but you do kind of see little bits of yourself in each cast member. Like you're like, okay, I do have moments like that. I do have moments like that. So I can like kind of relate. I don't know. But anyway, I just kind of, anyway, I feel for all of them, and it's just very cathartic, I think. To a lot of people are like, oh, reality TV's junk, reality TV's trash, and I get that. Like sometimes I do watch, and if there's a lot of fighting, then you kind of get riled up, and then you're like, oh, I shouldn't let this is like unnecessary for me to get this riled up. You know what I mean? I need to like not watch and not get caught up in it. Not that I don't get super caught up in it, but like, I can kind of catch myself like before that. Like I don't go on, I was gonna say I don't go on like blogs or podcasts and like rant about it, but then I kind of am right now. Like I kind of actually am. I'm like eating my own words because I'm doing that. But anyway, I don't get like majorly like, but it's, if you see people fighting, it's natural to kind of take sides, and you're going to kind of take the side of the person whose side you see the most. If you've been in a situation, if you see the two sides and you can identify more with one situation, you see that point of view, you're probably going to lean more towards, yeah, that's how I feel anyway. But no, but there is just something cathartic about seeing other people experience and talk about things that they've experienced that are just similar to you. All our experiences, even if people go through the same experience, it's going to be unique unto each of us. And then even if it's the exact same thing, we're still going to process everything differently, So, but it's just very, I keep saying cathartic, but it really is just, I don't know, I just was like very, that sounds like such a little thing. Like, Sam, is that really that noteworthy to talk about? Well, apparently I thought it was. So yeah, so anyway, I don't know. I would share more personal stuff here on this channel. I do kind of want to. It's not that I don't want to, but I just, honestly, I feel like right now I shouldn't. Like I just feel like I shouldn't. I just feel like it's wise to like not to. At one point I didn't really want to, but now I'm like, okay, I kind of do want to like spill the tea a little bit, like with some personal stuff, but I you think one thing one day, and then you think something different the next day, or you might be, not that I'm saying that this is it, but you might be in a fight with someone, and then you make up the next day, and so you don't want to say, oh, I'm so tired of this, I'm tired of that, and then the next day, you make up and things are roses or whatever. So it's like you don't want to say that, and then like you know what I mean? Like kind of eat your own, I don't know if eat your own words is the right thing. So I'm like, okay, I need to not like, for that reason, like it's probably not good if I like spill the tea, especially if it has to do with other people. But anyway, I just potentially maybe one day, I don't know. I would kind of like to share more. I just feel like I just shouldn't, but I kind of want to sometimes. Anyway, all right, so 20 minutes into the video, let me talk about the items. So I want to show you something new that I got from Coach, and like I said earlier, it's new to me. It came new with tags, but it's not something they make right now. It's a discontinued item. It's something they made. Well, actually, I'll tell you when they made it. If I can like this okay. 2020 was actually a good year for me. I won't get into all the details like why, just because I've already taken up a lot of time in this video talking about things other than the item. But it was, I mean, of course, like that's, you know, when there was negative stuff going on. But 2020, despite all that, was actually 21 was hell. 21 was hell. 21 was the worst year of my entire life. It's funny, even if I'm like buying wine or something like that, if I ever see something with like 21, like the year 20, I'm like, I don't want to get that one. I mean, I still might get it if it's the wine that I want, but it's, you know how like you see people on movies or on TVs and they like look at a date on a bottle of wine, they're like, oh yeah, that was a good year. Oh yeah, that was a rough year. I'm like, I kind of feel like that when I talk about like 2021. It was the worst year of my entire life. The worst year of my entire life. Anyway, but so this item was made in 2020, so that's a good year. Not that if it was made in 21, it would be any less special, but all right, so with no further ado, should I just show you that item? All right, I'll show you the item. So this is the Coach. I think I already said it, but yeah, Coach. This is the structured pouch, and it's in the horse and carriage print, which this horse and carriage motif is, I feel like Wilson. Whenever I hold something up like this, I feel like Wilson. So I feel like I need to do it like this, but this was, yeah, this is one of my favorite prints, one of my favorite canvases. I would say the red one is probably my favorite. They don't make this one in red, but like I don't want to say the red one's my favorite because they're all my favorites. I have a lot of things in this canvas. I think I would like to do a collection video. I've actually been wanting to do one for months. I've just not had the most time. Whenever I do, like, there is no such thing as spare time. That's like what you learn when you get older. There is no such thing as spare time. It's like I've learned that even when you, okay, I'm gonna go down another rabbit trail. So I'm just gonna get back to this. But anyway, I wanted this one in black though. This came in, well, I'm considering this black. This came in black, which is this. It also came in a blue. I like the blue. I have some other items in the blue horse and carriage print. But like, no, I want the black. And they also have it in, a black with like, I think they have it in a, well, no, actually I don't know if I'm thinking of this one or a different one, which I have a different version of the different one, but, oh, I was going to show, I should have brought that over. Anyway, maybe I'll grab it. I have some other things to show you guys to kind of compare to, but, you know what, I did this in my last video. I'm just gonna like grab something really quick. My bed in the back is, I don't know, it's actually not, it might look like a mess, but it's actually like not that messy. Anyway, let me get something. All right, I like, don't want to be like on camera when I'm like looking for something because that's embarrassing. Here it is. Okay, I actually have it right here because I was like just looking at this. All right. Okay, so I'll show you this other thing later. I've shown you that before, but I think they might have had this in a black, but it was like the horse and carriage was like a flocked, which I like the way it looked. I mean, I like the way it looked, but I feel like, and I might be wrong about this. I actually might be wrong. I should maybe, I don't know, maybe give it a chance if I see it, but I feel like the flocked print would just, I'm like, how can you clean it? Like if I needed to clean it with soap and water, could I? Which I know you gotta be sometimes careful even doing that on this, but I'm like, that's the reason why I love suede. I think suede is beautiful, but that's the reason why I've seen a few things that are suede. Suede's very trendy right now. And I've thought, oh, should I get that? But don't even do suede because I feel like, well, what if I needed to scrub it with soap and water? You know, what if you're like this okay, I shouldn't say that. That's going to sound gross, but I don't know. Like what if you just think of the worst. You're like, what if someone, I don't know, you're just like, what if something gets on it and I need to wash it with soap and water and I want to, you know, you set it somewhere and it's gross, you didn't realize it, but you set it down. And anyway, I just like things to be clean. Not even just to look clean. I mean, yeah, to look clean too, but to actually be clean. Like when people clean their bags and they just do a little spot clean here and there, that's fine. But no, I'm not just worried about, I'm not a germphobe either, ironically. I'm not afraid I'm gonna get like sick from carrying anything dirty. I mean, you could, but like that's not even what goes on in my brain. It's more just like a grossness factor. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway. So I wanted this canvas particularly, and it has this strap, so you can kind of hold it like this. And I actually really like that. I feel like something about this strap kind of gives it a masculine edge, which I really like. I have been very into the clutch thing lately. I always say like the man clutch. It's almost like the man bag, like you have to put that word in front of it or whatever. But no, I have really been into the man clutch, or you know, like clutches. We'll just say clutches. I've been really into them. I feel like I've seen other guys carrying them, probably because like you're again, the algorithm, not just on YouTube, but anywhere. It's like you look at things and it's like, oh, you know, Sam likes this kind of style. Let's see if he likes this. Anyway, I don't have to explain that, but you know, and I really do like the look of them. I think they're cool. I think they're nice. I feel like it's something where if you wanted to take some kind of bag to like a more formal event, like this would be a good thing. I mean, I'll take whatever wherever I want, but you know what I mean? Like sometimes this is good. The other thing that I like about clutches too is if you are somewhere and I don't know how to explain it. Like if you want something that you can, how do I say it? There might be a situation where if you have a bag or a backpack, it would make sense to take off your bag and backpack and like put it in a place and then you walk around without it. I mean, I keep my stuff on me as much as I can. Like, I mean, especially if I'm like out in public, I don't like to leave my stuff, even though they're like, oh, just leave it there, leave it in the office, it'll be fine. I'm like, I'd rather, like, I'm taking it with me. Like, I don't know, that's just, not even for concern of like something getting stolen. I mean, that too, but I don't know, I just want to have my stuff with me when I'm out. It just feels wrong to leave it alone. Like, plus, like, I want to have it with me. I brought it with me to have with me, so. But like, I don't know, it's if you're ever in a situation like that where you're like, oh, I should leave the bag here. With clutches, it's more like something, it's almost like your phone. It just kind of makes more sense to keep it on your person. Like, it's just something you can like carry with you. I mean, if you go over to someone's house, you know, you set it down. You don't like necessarily carry it around with you if you're over at someone's house. I mean, I guess if it's like a big house for a party or like a party or something, then maybe it would make sense. Anyway, I don't have to deep dive in every situation, but you get what I mean. Like, it just makes sense to like keep it on you, you know what I mean? And if you just want to have it with you at all times. So the only thing about clutches though is if you are out shopping, especially like grocery shopping, because I've taken a clutch with me before to go grocery shopping, it is harder because it is not hands-free. I wonder if this one would be different. I wonder if this would make it easier. Like, could I reach for items? Like, I don't know, but I remember that does make it a little bit harder. You can put it under your arm, but then to constantly like hold it under your arm when you need to be doing stuff is, it becomes kind of like, you know, what do I do with this, you know? So keep that in mind, but there is a time and place where it just makes sense to carry them. So has this compartment on the back. I did buy an organizer for it. I ordered it last night, technically this morning at like 5 in the morning or whatever. I didn't sleep much last night. Came with a hang tag. This one came with the wrapping still on it. And sometimes I wonder about that because sometimes I feel like people will rewrap stuff and say, oh yeah, it still has the wrapping. But I mean, it looked like it could have been part of the factory wrapping the way it actually did. It did come with the tag. The tag was detached, but I don't know, which a lot of people say, I won't go on too much about this, but a lot of people say new with tags, but the tag is like cut off. It's like detached. Like, I have some things that are new with tags and the tag comes and it's like still attached, which then I'm like, well, if someone's really slick, they could take the tag off and then get their own little attachment thing and reattach it, you know, if they're really trying, trying to do something. But anyway, but no, it's in good condition. I mean, it feels new, it looks new. Does not, it said it wasn't used, so I like that. So has a little bit of space on the bottom, because this other one, which as I hit myself, I've shown you guys this one before. This is the truffle color, all right? So you can see this is more like a brown truffle. This is more like a black or like a gray. They almost look like similar if you see them individually, but together you can see the difference. This one is completely flat. So this one is completely, you know, this one's flat. It's just more like a portfolio, maybe. I don't know, maybe this would be considered a portfolio too. You can take this off if you want to take this off. And I'm like, I don't see myself using the wrist strap, but then I'm like, you know what, if I am out somewhere and well, here, I don't know, there's probably an easier way to do that. I guess if I am out somewhere and I wanted to just have it really secure, I could do it like this, because then even if, like, you know, like this part gets let go, it's still like, maybe not 100% foolproof, but, you know, I don't know, so maybe I could do that. This is just easier though, but anyway. But yeah, I like it. I did buy an organizer for it. It's on the way. I hope it works. It is sometimes hard to find an organizer that works exactly for the item that you want it to work for, because a lot of organizers are geared towards like specific designer bags, which makes sense, like Louis Vuitton or Hermes or Chanel or something like that. A lot of them aren't always geared towards Coach stuff, and especially a lot of them aren't always geared towards Coach men's items. So you kind of have to like, or I kind of find myself having to like pick the one that matches the closest. And I've actually found some for some organizers or some inserts for some bags that are pretty close and fit really well. I'm like, okay, that's just about perfect. So we'll see if this other one works for this. It will take up space, but it's not that I dislike the lining, but I don't know. I like the lining of the organizer a little bit. I don't want to say more, but I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's like probably I don't know if sensory thing is the right word or whatever, but anyway. But no, the lining on this is good, but I'm looking forward to having the organizer, even if it does take up a little bit more space. So one of the reasons why I'm been so drawn to clutches as of kind of lately is because of this I like. This has been my go-to when I need like some type of clutch thing. I just love it. See the interior of this is my, see that real slick kind of, it's not satin, but more satiny feeling type material, silky satiny feeling. I like it. This is Lacoste, and I probably said this before in videos, but I saw this. I bought this in 2003, which was, I had never been in New York before. I've only been in New York twice, both times for work, so it was a short visit, and it was more for work than fun. So, you know, there wasn't as much time to like, you know, I'm not out like seeing the city all day, but you do get to like explore and see the city and have, you know, a little bit of the New York experience. So I appreciate that. But I remember I went in, I think it was October of 2023. And I remember in September, like all the fall fashions and stuff were coming out, like locally and anywhere. And I remember I was going to the mall because I wanted to try to get some clothes to wear to New York for work. Because I felt like I work from home mostly. I used to work in the office, but I'm like, okay, I just want some more like business casual type clothes. You know, I just wanted a little refresh, and I wanted to like, you know, feel like I looked, you know, cute or whatnot whenever I went for my little trip. And anyway, so they had this on the display window in Lacoste, and the mannequin that they had wearing it, he was wearing like the mannequin was wearing like a long pea coat. I think it was like a maroon pea coat, and it was kind of like, it seemed kind of dressy, like a little, I don't know if I'd say formal, but like maybe a little bit like kind of classy, kind of formal, but it had an edge to it. And then they had him in like sweatpants, and I think it was like a hoodie, like athleisure, but it was like it just went really well with the pea coat, even though the pea coat is more, which now people wear sweatpants with blazers and stuff like that. So like that's kind of not outside the norm. it wasn't outside the norm then, but it really just looked really tailored. I don't know, just looked really good. And then they had him holding this little clutch, or they had it like it was either like they either propped it in the mannequin's hands, or it was like sitting right by him, something where it showed it like going with the outfit. This is a toiletry pouch, so I don't think that it was necessarily marketed as like a men's clutch. It's just a men's toiletry pouch, or it might even be unisex for all I know, actually. But I just saw it the way it was displayed in the window, and I went in and I got it. And anyway, that's kind of what turned me on to clutches, was this. So this one right here, I've used that. I like that one. This is another one. Okay, so this one has a strap. This strap is detachable. I just wanted to show you it with a strap on, but I do like the fact that this has a strap, because if you do need to be hands-free, not that you would carry the strap with you inside the bag, like if you went out with it like this, you wouldn't probably have the strap on you, unless you like kept it in the car or something like that, maybe. But anyway, but you can use it like this. I do like how this one is a little bit taller. I don't know, just like having that extra inch of height does kind of make a difference. Like, does kind of, sometimes you don't realize that when you like see these online or whatever, or when you're seeing everything for the first time. But like, there's something about the proportion of this I just really enjoy. Like, it's tall enough that I feel like what I put in here has enough depth to where it's not going to be so close to the surface. Not that this one is like pushing the items out. I mean, it's good too, but anyway. I do like this though. I do like it. I'm definitely not, I don't get rid of my stuff. I don't sell my stuff. I don't know. If I buy something, I pretty much like, I have it for life. You know what I mean? Like, it's just part of me. It's part of my story. It's part of my collection. Not that I'm trying to collect every piece from every line or anything, but when it's with me, it's with me. Like, that's just kind of how like, it's not worth the $100 or whatever that it's not to part with it is not worth like the $100 or whatever, or even if it was like way more than that. It's part of, I just like, I don't know, it's like special, it's special. So it's special. Anyway, it is. It is. All right. I don't know. Okay. I'm like, all right, stop. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you this other one. And then I do have other kind of similar bags that I could show you guys, but I think these are kind of my main ones. So anyway, but yeah, this is the new one. I think this is the only one that I have with a handle. I like the way that feels. That just feels nice to hold it like that. That just kind of feels nice to hold it like that. This one doesn't have that, so it is one thing. You shop for a bag, you see a bag, you like a bag, you buy the bag you like. It's almost like throwing spaghetti on a wall. What you kind of learn what you prefer and what I don't want to say don't prefer, because like, I think if I like the bag enough, like you can make anything work. But I don't know, like, you just kind of learn like little things that are important to you. Like, if I was looking at 100 clutch bags for the first time, I wouldn't necessarily think, oh, I like the taller ones a little bit better. I wouldn't necessarily think that having this handle on it would make a big deal. I might think, oh, I could take it, I could leave it. But I'm like, no, I actually, after seeing it like that, I'm like, no, if all the bags had a handle, like, that would be really useful. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of don't, there's like little things that you just don't realize. The lining, I know. The lining on this, I know, is my favorite lining. So I would know that right off the bat. But anyway, it's like that with all things, really, in all bags. But yeah, so this is my newest, latest and greatest. So yeah, I wanted to show that to you guys, and I just wanted to chat for a little bit. I still have more things to do tonight, but I am trying to make time for videos. It is okay. So you know how people say, oh, you will, whatever is important to you, you'll make time for it, no matter how busy you are. We're all busy, but you make time for what's important for you. That is yeah, that there is truth in that, but you can be so busy. This is the thing. This is the thing. And this is like one thing I realized, like, take some things that you hear, you really need to take it with a grain of salt, because I get that, like, okay, you'll make time for what's busy for you, but oftentimes if I have something that I have to do, like if it's a, like say a work thing or like something you have to get done, something that's maybe not like, you're not, you're not doing it because you just love to do it. You're doing it because you have to get it done because there's going to be a consequence if you don't get it done. You know, some things you just, you want to get things off your plate, you know, or as much close to being off your plate as possible. So there's certain things like that, and I oftentimes will try to tackle things like that first, and then I'm like, okay, once I get this done, then I'll respond to this person, or then I'll like, I have so many, I have literally over 800 um unread text messages, like literally over 800. I mean, like all the, you know, like there are some that come in that I know to look out for or whatnot, but I just have a lot. I just have a lot. Anyway, I just kind of, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought a little bit. So it is true though, like you can get busy and get caught up on things that, you know, they say at the end of your life, is any of this going to matter? No, it's not going to matter. Yeah, you know what? At the end of your life, maybe not. But right now, if you don't do task A, B, and C, your end of life might come sooner. You know what I mean? Like that's, I could go on a big thing about that, and I'll maybe try to do that real quick. Like there's some people, they say, oh, don't spend all your life working or all your time on this or all your time on that. Spend your time having fun. Spend your time enjoying things in life. And I mean, I guess I do like hearing that because it does validate that like it is important to have fun, and you know there is a need for happiness and to do things that bring you joy. But then at the same time, people just mitigate the fact that a lot of times people, the way people allocate their time isn't how they would choose to allocate their time. A lot of times, this is going to sound so like poetic, or not poetic, this is going to sound so trite, but a lot of times we are like rag dolls in life being pulled in different directions, and you're going to say, oh, you're in control of your life, you're in control of how you spend your time or whatever. Well, if you are someone who, let's say, okay, let's say there's someone who, let's say someone doesn't have a job, let's say someone loses their job, because I've actually known people like this before. Let's say someone becomes an Uber driver because maybe they lost their income or whatever, and so now they're trying to support themselves, support their family, and they're doing it through Uber driving until they can find something else. And maybe they're having, this is not my situation, but I've seen this before, and this is, even if this isn't your situation, this will paint a picture. This will make the point at least. So let's say someone is working as an Uber driver and they are not, you know, they're looking for other work, which there's nothing wrong with working as an Uber driver. That's, I enjoy renting Ubers and having, or not renting, I guess renting, or, you know, I enjoy like taking Ubers when I need to. But you have a lot of people doing things like that out of necessity, or like doing DoorDash or something. And a lot of people doing that kind of thing, if someone is really needing to have an income to, again, support themselves, make their house payment, pay for food, pay for groceries, pay for their bills, electric, pay for, you know, kids, family, all that kind of stuff. It takes money. It takes money to keep things going. That's the bottom line, is it takes money to keep things going, and it takes more money than you realize to keep things going. Like someone might not even have that extravagant of a lifestyle, but day to day just takes, it takes money. People like demonize money, like, oh, who cares about money, or who cares about this or whatever. Well, there's nothing wrong with wanting nice things and enjoying or wanting or striving for a nice life or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't want that necessarily to be the most important thing. There are other things more important for that, but I don't think it's evil to want like luxuries in life or whatnot. I really don't. And people like to demonize stuff, and that's an easy thing to demonize. And maybe you do have some people who get caught up in that stuff and maybe use it as a tool to make themselves feel better than everyone else or whatever. But anyway, it's a whole nother thing. So money provides security. And if someone's in a situation that they wouldn't necessarily choose for themselves, you know, then do things you do things to make the best of that situation. So you might have someone who is working like 12, 16 hours a day as an Uber driver. I don't know if Uber would let people work more than a certain amount of hours, but like, I think there's like probably a cutoff for like security or liability reasons or whatever, but like maybe they have two things. They do Uber and then they have like a part-time job, or maybe someone has a full-time job where they work their tail off on and then they drive Uber or they do DoorDash or something like that. You know, it doesn't even have to be one of those. A lot of people do things not because they would choose to, and it's not that they just love to work or have this work ethic or even that they get their worth from doing these things. I mean, maybe that plays into it at somewhat too. People feel like, okay, I got to prove my value or whatever. But a lot of times people do things just because if they don't, they're going to lose their house. They're going to be on the street. Their kids are going to be without a home. So it's like, you might say, oh, well, working so hard really doesn't matter at the end of life. But how do you expect to live in the meantime, from now until when you are on your deathbed, if you don't do certain things? So certain people are in situations where, you know, a lot of that isn't a worry, and that's good. Like that's the situation, that's a good situation to be in. But anyway, I don't make more money if I work harder, so it's not like, for me, I'm it doesn't matter how many hours I put in with what I do. It's not, I don't want to get too much in all my personal stuff, but like, I'm salary based, so that's not why I do it. I mean, I work hard to get the job done and just make sure, you know, the needle's moving on the right direction on things, you know, because anyway, I'm not, that you could say that with any line of work, I'm sure, but anyway, a lot of people work hard not because they're not seeing the real meaning of life, but they don't, you know, some people just don't have a choice. So anyway, um, I will end this here. I need to go to the grocery store tonight. I haven't gone for a while, and I'm like, okay, tonight's the night I need to go. So need to go. I need to come back. I do need to work a little bit more. What time is it? I don't have my watch on. I'm filming with my phone. That clock back there is, I probably should like change the batteries in that clock back there, because it's like probably bad like feng shui or whatnot to have the time just like standing still. But when did I start to film? I think I started to film a little bit after 7. I've been going for almost 15 minutes, so it's probably like 8 something. Is it going on 9? I don't know. Anyway, I'll figure it out once I stop this video. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. All right, till next time. Bye.